YouTube, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. Uh, Today we'll be reacting to another video, a TikTok conspiracy compilation video, and this one is titled "Scary Facts About Our World You Probably Didn't Know." I'm excited. Uh, I want to know, so yeah, let's get into it. Let's react.
Facts that will probably keep you up at night. In ancient Rome,
Try
soldiers
me.
used to drink fresh warm blood to cure epilepsy. There are
Whoa.
antidepressants that eliminate someone's ability to feel love and compassion. The Exorcist movie resulted in many of its cast dying, including two actors whose
What?
characters died in the movie. In 2017, an asteroid named AG-13 passed by our home planet with less than the distance of the moon. Scientists saw it coming only 2 days before it could have hit Earth. One of the most haunted dolls is
What?
Robert. It belonged to a child named Eugene in 1904. The two most dangerous books are called Shams al-Ma'arif and Al-Ghazali. They carry
I've
rituals
heard
for
about those
summoning
books.
demons. In ancient England, people
I've heard
used
about those
tops of
books.
hollowed human skulls to drink and eat. At Harvard University, there's a
What?
book bound in human skin, like for part 6.
Terrifying
Hey,
facts you wish you
yo.
never knew, and trust me, the last one is insane. So it's no
Try me.
secret that Mount Everest is one of the most dangerous climbs that any adventurer could possibly go on.
I
But
agree.
Mount Everest is hiding a very disturbing secret. It's called the Rainbow Valley, and if you don't know what it is, buckle up. The
Rainbow
Rainbow Valley
Valley?
is a trail of dead bodies scattered all along Mount Everest. And it's
Whoa.
called the Rainbow Valley because all the climbers that died all had on different colorful
Different.
jackets.
Yep.
And it's to the point where people use these dead bodies as points to mark how far up the mountain they are. Number two, there's no reason why anesthesia works. Literally none, but thank God it does. Most of the time.
Okay.
Because several people have suffered from something called anesthesial awareness. Anesthesial awareness is a condition that causes people to wake up when they're put under anesthesia, but they can't move or make any noises, and they feel all the pain.
Yeah.
And people that have been
Damn.
through it have described it as a living hell.
Terrifying true facts that will keep you up at night.
I'm assuming it's probably like one of those situations where it's like you're laying there and you cannot do anything about it, and then maybe insects are like, let me stop. Let me stop.
Part 2. Most people would consider ducklings to be relatively harmless and innocent creatures, but they can be more sinister than you might realize. When a
Really?
group of ducklings starts to feel overcrowded, aggravated, or even just bored sometimes, they will often turn to cannibalism to solve their problems for them. This is a
Yeah.
characteristic that they share with
Damn.
other animals we tend to regard as being cute, such as chickens and bunny rabbits. And speaking of cute, let's talk about babies. Up until the mid-1980s, doctors would routinely operate on infants without the use of anesthetics. This is because it was thought that babies
Shit,
couldn't
man.
experience pain. Also in the 1980s, CNN pre-recorded an ominous video meant to be published in the event of an end-of-the-world scenario. Comment if you think that video will be published during your lifetime, and follow for more. Terrifying
down
true
below.
facts that will keep you up at night.
Me personally, I don't
Part
think so.
4. Decapitation doesn't always immediately work. There have been some
What?
reports of humans living up to 30 seconds after their heads have been removed from their bodies.
Oh
And there was a
my
chicken in the 1940s
God.
named Mike who lived for over a year without his head. There's
What?
a whale called 50.
No. Wait a second. You're trying to tell me that there was a headless chicken running around that was alive. Miss me. Allow it. Allow it. No way. There's no way. I've heard, I think you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. In Mexico, there's like this, I don't want to call it a sport, but there's this game, I guess you can call it, where a person would take chicken, grab it by their head, and just like spin it around and then just yank it, right? And then the body of the chicken would start running and the kids would it makes sense now. God damn. No, but the human thing, the like like what is the fastest way to actually no, actually no, I'm bugging. I'm bugging. I'm bugging.
To blue, which sings at such a high frequency that it is unable to communicate with the rest of its species, making it the loneliest animal on Earth and dooming it to die alone. And finally, mummies weren't actually rare until the late 16th century, when the British decided to start buying mummies to grind up into paint.
I've heard about that.
And they also started eating
Victorian
them,
era.
believing them to have special medical properties. Tag a friend if you're watching this at night, and follow for more.
These are
If I'm not mistaken, back in the Victorian era, like the aristocrats, the higher ups, the people who had money and too much time to waste, they would go and purchase mummies from Egypt, and they'd bring a person named like I forgot what the guy was called, something like an unroller or something. He was a guy that specialized in unrolling the you guys know what I mean, right? Nah, that's crazy, bro. Who would do such thing? Like, who would actually go be like, hey, yo, like, there's this party that I'm going to hold and da 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 da. We're going to do one, two, three, and the person will, oh yeah, sure, I'm down. Let's go. Nah, allow it.
horrifying facts that will probably keep you up at night. One of your
Probably.
photos that you have today will be used in your funeral. There are more slaves today than
depending
any
on the
other
culture.
time in history. According to the founder of the Walk Free Foundation, there are 46 million slaves in the world today. Your eyes can still move after
Fun fact: there's one country till this day that still allow slavery. It was an African country on the west coast. What was it called? Fuck. I forgot what it's called, but it's on the west side of Africa. But yeah, fun fact.
your death for 15 to 30 seconds. Watching
Oh,
TV
that
for
I
more
heard,
than
that I
2 hours a day can shorten your life expectancy by 1.4 years. In
What?
1977, we received a radio signal from space that lasted 42 seconds. To this day, no one knows where that signal came from. A lit candle causes more than 15,000
What?
house fires every year.
NASA.
Spider rain could happen at
Let
any
me stop,
moment
let's stop.
above you. Bill
Hey,
Skarsgård, who played
hey,
Pennywise
no,
in the
go back,
2017
go back.
15,000 house fires every year. Spider rain
Hey, yo.
could happen at any moment above you. Bill Skarsgård, who played Pennywise in the 2017 version of It, was born in 1990, the year the original It was released. Yeah. These are 8 horrifying facts
That last
will
one was
probably
crazy.
keep
It
you
took
up
me a
at
minute
night.
to.
Up until the 1980s, some doctors didn't believe newborns could feel pain. There is a book called The Wreck of the Titan. It predicted
stop,
the
stop.
Titanic ship tragedy, and it was written 14 years before it happened. Until the 20th century, human remains were used in the making of medicine. Climate change is making Middle Eastern countries colder and Western countries warmer. There is a church in Czech
heard
Republic
about that.
called the Sedlik Ossuary, and it's decorated with human bones. Another fact about this church, it holds the skeletons of 70,000 people. 4-year-old Dorothy
What about that church
Good
in
was
France?
the youngest person to be accused of witchcraft. While Ted Bundy was a psychology major at the University of Washington, he worked at Seattle's Suicide Hotline Crisis Center. Yeah, there's a lot more, like for part 16. These are 8 horrifying facts that will probably keep you up at night. Vending machines are lethal. Yes, 13 people a year get killed from vending machines. Cats can sense when their owners
How?
are dying.
No,
Babies have
explain.
more bones than adults. Spiders can survive in space. Your rectum is the first part of your body to develop, which means in one point of your life, you were just a... Several species of birds keep
stop,
cool
nah.
by defecating on themselves. Your stomach lining blushes when you do. On average, 173,000 people die per day. Yeah, there's a lot more, like
that
for
number
part
is
15.
crazy.
These are 8
That
horrifying
number is
facts that will
crazy.
probably keep you up at night. When Apollo 11 landed, it only had 20 seconds of remaining fuel. 4 months ago, a deceased rapper
Damn.
by the name Gunu had his corpse on stage while fans were partying around his body. The average person wastes 5 months
that's
of their
disturbing.
lives waiting for red lights to turn green. Cruise ships have morgues, just in case someone, during the trip, If you have red eyes after swimming, it's not from chlorine. It's from the chlorine mixing with other people's urine. The furthest part of the ocean from land is Point Nemo. If you get stuck there, you're not coming back. Sunburn are your cells dying to avoid being cancerous. Most laugh tracks and shows are
My
people's
childhood
faces,
has
which
been
means you're hearing the
alive,
laughter
bro.
of dead people. Yeah, there's a lot more, like for part 14. These are 8 horrifying facts that will probably keep you up at night. There are thousands of old diseases frozen in the glaciers of the world, and global warming will eventually release them all. If a person dies in their
just
costume
think
at
about
Disney,
that.
like Mickey Mouse, they have to be sat down
Oh.
on a bench so it looks like they're resting. Climate change is making spiders bigger. Some female spiders allow their young to eat them alive. Tooth in the eye surgery is when surgeons put a tooth in a blind
what?
person's eye to restore their sight. It was pioneered in the 1960s, and it actually works, and it's still being done today. The chances of a successful CPR.
No, can we talk about that spider thing? Oh my God. Oh my. I mean, it will make it to the point where it's like, you know what I'm saying? But just for a second, imagine spiders being the size of those spiders back in King Kong, Skull Island. If you guys watch the movie, you know what I'm talking about. Nah, ain't no way. There's no way, bro. All of my friends who have what is it called arachnophobia, the fear of spiders. Yeah. Nah.
Outside of a hospital is only 7%. Cell phones are 10 times dirtier than a toilet seat. When you
What?
suddenly wake up during the night without any reason, there was someone or something staring at you. Yeah, there's a lot more, like for part 12.
I think that's more of a myth. That's more like a cultural thing. Some cultures maybe believe that. I don't think that's actually true. But all of the other ones, ain't no way, bro. And let's talk about that phone. Phones are more dirtier than nah. How, bro? Like he's throwing all of these facts. Explain. Like like what? Nah, nah. That's crazy.
These are 8 horrifying facts that will probably keep you up at night. If you smell burnt toast and there's nothing actually burning, you are most probably having a stroke. If you have
What?
5 brothers, one of you will
Wait,
go
what?
to 5 funerals, while another won't see even one. If you shiver randomly, that means a ghost passed near or through you. There are 2 days that don't last 24
That's more of a
hours.
myth.
The one of your birth and the one of your death. In the original Little Red Riding Hood, the wolf forced her to eat her grandma. You've never
What?
actually seen your face, only photos and reflections. People who fall in love
Wait,
lose an average
what?
of 2 friends each. By the time you reach the age of 18, on average, you have 3,300 weekends left in your life. Yeah, there's a
That's
lot more,
crazy.
like for part 11.
That's
Terrifying
crazy.
facts that will keep you up at night, part 3. Up until the mid-19th century, dentures were made by harvesting the teeth of recently deceased soldiers.
Excuse me.
It was also not uncommon for rich people whose teeth had rotted from eating too much sugar to purchase the teeth of poor people who had healthier diets to replace their own. Most laugh tracks used in television today were recorded during or before the 1950s. So when you hear one, chances are you're listening to the laughter of people who have been dead for decades. Unlike
That
other
makes
predators,
sense.
polar bears will actively hunt humans for food and sport.
I've heard about
In
that.
fact, there's a famous saying that if the bear is brown, lie down. If it's black, fight back. And if it's white, good night.
Shout out to what's that guy called? Something Geographic, the guy from YouTube. You guys know who I'm talking about. Right? I watched one of his videos and he said the exact same thing. So this is not new information for me. So yeah. No, but if you see a polar bear in front of you, yeah, GG's, bro. GG's. Just hit one of these, and yeah, that's it.
Comment if you think you could beat a polar bear in a fight, and follow for more. Here are some terrifying true facts you'll wish you didn't know. Think about this sentence for a second. Either we're entirely alone in the universe, or we're not. Both are terrifying prospects. Either we're entirely alone, or we're not, and what's out there might be worse than if we were. There are more slaves today than at any other point in human history. We like to think of slavery as being an issue of the past, but it is estimated that there are up to 40 million slaves today, and over a quarter of them are children. Finally, over 80 million bacteria can be exchanged in just one kiss. Maybe there are some benefits to being single.
Scary cartoon truths that would terrify you, Part 1. Peppa Pig was diagnosed with cancer at just 2 years old and spent most of her early life in bed. She needed constant assistance and 24-hour supervision from her parents just to keep her alive. Peppa was an embarrassment and a burden to the whole family. But one day her dad had enough and got a horrible idea. He decided to chain Peppa to her bed so she could never leave her room again. Years later, her parents had another child, which they named Peppa. This Peppa replaced the original Peppa, who is still locked inside her room. And if you Google Peppa Pig house wallpaper, something terrifying comes up. At first glance, you can't see it, but if you zoom in, you can see the original Peppa still locked inside of her room.
If you still own one of these, then you might want to take caution. In the mid-80s, 17-year-old Jason Findley was found dead in his bedroom with zero evidence as to what happened. He was in good health, had no undiscovered diseases, and there was no evidence of foul play that night. It wasn't until an autopsy revealed bleeding of the inner ear that indicated some kind of sudden electrical surge. And that's when the pieces all came together. Jason had been on the phone while there was a bad thunderstorm that night. And all it took was for lightning to strike his home and an electrical surge to make its way into his ear. I always thought growing up that this was a complete urban legend, but apparently 1 to 2 people die every year from being electrocuted over the phone. Or at least they did. Thankfully, cell phones are more popular now. Unless you happen to be a vintage collector.
Here's the scary truth behind the Teletubbies. And warning, this gets scary. Teletubbies isn't really the lovable show we all know. The show was actually based on a mental institute in Bulgaria called La La Land. Inside the institute, there were children who were horribly treated. They were locked in dark rooms, beaten, abused. Their caretakers would even forget to feed them. And each Teletubby is actually based on a group of kids who died on the same day. These kids all had facial deformities from all the beatings and lack of food. This is what made them always smile. The kids were locked up in isolation. The isolation caused them to dance and sing by themselves even when there's no music. Whenever someone tried to talk to them, they would only speak gibberish. This is because they didn't understand Bulgarian or know how to speak to people. No matter how deformed and broken they would always smile because of their face. And the son and the voice in the show is actually the caretakers talking to them. They have to follow the rules and listen to what they say. If you like this video, make sure to like and follow for more.
Nerdy facts about history that school probably didn't teach you. Part 19. Oscar Wilde was once quoted saying that he was addicted to giving top and said that it greatly inspired him as a writer. The first ever pregnancy test involved injecting a woman's urine directly into a female frog's skin. And if the woman was pregnant, a few hours later, the frog would lay eggs. Paul Revere would ride from Boston to Newport to cheat on his wife. No, babe, the redcoats are actually coming this time. In 1955, the KGB tried to blackmail the president of Indonesia with video footage of him making love with a Russian woman disguised as a flight attendant. However, this backfired because the president did not care and requested the tape so he could flex on his friends back home. Giving someone the finger actually dates back 2,000 years, and it used to mean that you were threatening someone with sex. So while today it means you, back then it meant I'm going to fuck you.
What's a really weird thing that your body does that you're not sure anybody else's body does?
I was a little kid, I was able to do this with my hands. Basically, I can crack all my fingers all the time, anytime. Watch.
Wait, what? Nah, that's crazy.
It starts hurting after a while.
Crack like this way, this way. What? Okay. Not really. Um, damn, that was a lot of information. I'll keep it a buck 50. That's before taxes. Um, nah, so many different some facts, here and there I've heard before, so they weren't new to me. But the other ones, bro, nah, the ones that stuck with me, the phone one, the climate change with the spiders, and the Teletubbies one. What else? The what 170 something thousand people die each day? Nah, that's crazy, bro. God damn. Like you need to ask yourself why and how. Is it like if it's like from natural causes, then by all means, I mean, it is what it is. But if it's like something like the one with the dying from the phone and the electric, nah, that's crazy. Damn. Yo, you know what? Okay, let me stop. I was, you know what? I was about to say it reminded me of that one. You guys watched Sword Art Online Part Two? No, no, what's it part two or part two, where like if you receive a phone call and like you guys, you know, I'm talking to Bruce right now. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed the video, please like, comment down below if you want to see more videos like this. And yeah, subscribe, more videos to come. Hit the notification button, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.